Remakes are a dime a dozen these days. It seems like every major franchise is getting remade one way or another, and now it's Tomb Raider's turn. It's understandable as the 1996 classic could use a modern take for new audiences, but let's not forget that in 2007, the game was already remade to celebrate Lara's 10th anniversary. Lara was on fire back then. With Legends taking the series into a new direction and the success of the Tomb Raider movies, it only made sense to ride the hype train with a good old-fashioned remake. But there's a problem. Just like the anniversary of one of those couples that hates each other, so it's awkward and uncomfortable for everyone that's there, so is Lara's 10th birthday celebration. I'm going to explain to you the many flaws with Anniversary as a first-time player, and why I hope Lara's third trip to Atlantis is way better than her second. Before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the hype button. May Jehovah God and Jesus Christ bless you all, and I'm very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you for watching. Have a blessed day, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Anniversary starts off the same way as the original game. Natla hires Lara to find an artifact in Peru. All of this is mostly the same, with the only key difference is that they wove in the storyline of Tomb Raider Legends. So Lara is no longer doing this just for sport, but to find the trail that her father started in the search for her mother who went missing at the beginning of Tomb Raider Legends. This inclusion doesn't change the story much until the end, but I do like the attempt of trying to turn Anniversary into the Tomb Raider Legends universe versions of these events, and I think that's what they're trying to do with the survival universe Lara and the Legacy of Atlantis. The first thing I notice is how different Anniversary feels. No more tank controls, and while old me would be thanking Jehovah God and Jesus Christ for its absence, if you all have been following my reviews of the series so far, you'll know I came around to liking tank controls. But what's here is just as good. It's a modern movement system where Lara will smoothly move in any direction that you point her in. The biggest change is the removal of the grid system. For those who don't know, the grid system is the foundation of classic Tomb Raider. It's a tile system where the player can easily know how Lara will behave based on where she is on a tile. It's one of the many reasons why all the floors look like blocks back in the day. It was a simple system that was extremely consistent. There might have been times where the environment might have tricked me into thinking I could land a jump, but if you knew the math behind it, you would be a master at controlling Lara. Something so important to the core design of Tomb Raider, see what I did there? Couldn't just be replaced, but it had to be if Tomb Raider wanted to evolve into something more fluid. So what exactly did they do to improve Tomb Raider? Well, what they did was they gave us one of the most inconsistent and buggy platforming games I have ever played. First off, Anniversary removed a lot of Lara's acrobatic moves while platforming and made so much of her actions automated that in comparison to the original game, this one feels like it's on rails. In the past, you needed to manually grab ledges, which gives you a sense of control and adds an extra challenge. Now Lara would just grab things on her own, but to add some tension back to the game, she can lose balance from time to time and you would need to straighten her up by pressing the Y button. I really wish I could just grab things on my own. They trusted the player to do so in the past, but figured it would be too much for the player in the remake. But then I noticed something in the menus. There is an option for manual grabs, and I quickly turned it on. Then I learned that manual grabs in this game suck, so I turned it back off. With manual grabs on, Lara will grab at all times as long as you hold down the button. Convenient, but removes the challenge. So you're probably thinking, just don't hold down the button, Grim. You control the buttons that you press. Well, that sounds nice on paper, but I forgot to mention that the mechanic just doesn't work all the time. That's right, if you turn on manual grabs, it may not work, but magically the automatic grab does work. And it works almost too well where Lara will make some anatomically impossible jumps at times. There were moments where I would actually make a jump, maybe fail and have to restart. Then the next time I go for the same jump at the same distance, she just wouldn't grab hold. I'm mashing the heck out of this button like a madman and nothing but death came from it. This is the same system from Tomb Raider Legends, And that's the core issue with this game, but we'll have to build up to why that's a problem later. To speak about something good for a change, Crystal Dynamics did include features that weren't present in Tomb Raider 1 that I really enjoyed. Lara can climb ropes, swing from poles, hop on pillars, and use her grappling hook from Tomb Raider Legends to swing and run off walls. Now we're getting somewhere. These new additions all fit naturally into the levels of Tomb Raider 1, so much so that you might actually forget that they were actually not in the original game. That's how well they fit into Tomb Raider Anniversary. Because we're no longer on the grid system, they had to rework some of the puzzles, and honestly, they did a good job here too. Tomb Raider 1's puzzles centered around mastery over the grid system, timing your jumps and grabs just right to make it to the goal. With the advanced platforming from the original game removed, they needed to cover up the void, and they filled it quite well. But it's far from perfect because the game, again, is buggy as hell. There are way too many situations where Lara's jumping distance should allow the player to grab hold of her environment, but if you don't go in the order the devs determined, she will not grab hold and just phase through solid objects. This even happens with the pillars, and it's mad annoying. Worst of all is how Lara will not consistently use her grab animation. If I make a jump and die, but she never reached out, that's the game telling me that she can't make this jump because she never reached out to grab hold of anything. But silly me, I was using my brain too much because that's not what that means. She can actually make these jumps, but whether or not the animation plays is up to random chance, I guess, and it throws me off every single time. In the original Tomb Raider, Lara had a walk button that stopped her from going over ledges, and this also helped the player safely drop down and not fall to their death. Walking is in the game, but doesn't stop you from dying. So if you approach a ledge, you better pray to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ that you don't overshoot it, or worse, Lara just doesn't latch onto the ledge below her and dies anyway. See, unlike the original Tomb Raider where every ledge could be grabbed, in this game that's not how it works. There are specific ones that can be, but at times they blend into the surroundings, and I couldn't tell what could be grabbed and what couldn't. That's not all. There are so many times where you can see Lara miss a jump, not because she couldn't make it, but because she was supposed to grab some ledge before jumping over to another object or a moving floor, then complete its animation, even though she can technically grab hold of it anyway, but it just doesn't let you, or some other inexcusable reason to just kill Lara off. But like I said before, even this isn't consistent because like I said, Lara can actually make awkward jumps in this game, and sometimes that's what the devs wanted you to do. This is outright frustrating to me as it makes me go against my own understanding of Lara's movements. Imagine knowing how far Lara can jump, but because you went out of order, the game denies you of success. But then there are times where your knowledge of her mechanics is rewarded. This causes the player to not trust everything that the game has taught them because the game confuses you the entire time. What really took me over the edge was Lara's grappling hook. You can use the grappling hook to pull objects towards you, which is cool, but just take a look at this. I am as close as possible to this hook, thinking I have to use my grappling hook on it. Lara, for whatever reason, never would attach to it, so I assumed I either couldn't grab it or I had a bad angle. So after running around this amazing puzzle, by the way, I got stuck because unbeknownst to me, Lara is supposed to hook onto this, but she needed to be further away to grab it. Now, how does that make sense in any world? Lara can literally have her back turned to objects in this game and grab things with her grappling hook. And the grappling hook must have special powers or something because the reach and distance of the hook is actually not consistent. So there'll be times where you'll see something in the distance thinking that it won't attach, but it actually will. I'm telling you, this game is a masterclass at jank and confusion. Even her jumping range is all over the place in this game. Lara in the original game would leap a distance of 2 tiles during a standard jump or 3 from a long jump. In Tomb Raider Anniversary, which is a remake of the original game, you can feel the game magnetizing Lara to wherever the game thinks she should be. It's so jarring and powerful at times that the game actually redirected me and landed me into this magma hole where I should have died, but I didn't, and I found this funny glitch. This invisible force that sucks Lara to different elements in the world feels like a step back from a game that came out in 1996. Lara sliding down slopes feels bad because in this game, you don't really have to learn how fast she needs to go in order to time your jumps. Just press the jump button immediately as you land on the slope and Lara will go exactly where she's supposed to go. This is stupid because what she's supposed to do is build up momentum to tell the player that it's okay to leap, but that's just not how it works in this game. All of this just feels wrong to me, and not because I'm just comparing it to the first game. That's not even the issue. You see, just a year before Tomb Raider Anniversary, Tomb Raider Legends dropped, which I reviewed. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, links in the pinned comment. Anniversary is built off of the Legends engine, and that would be fine if they would have taken the time to polish the game. You see, I never had any of these issues in Tomb Raider Legends, and I don't think it has anything to do with them trying to fit the first game's levels into this new engine, because everything was reworked. What didn't work in this new game was cut and reshaped in a way to feel familiar while also playing well with the Tomb Raider Legends style of gameplay. The problem lies in the bugs. Tomb Raider Legends was built off of Lara automatically grabbing hold of things around her, and it rarely ever failed. Legends also had a distinct camera that would focus the player's eyes on where you're supposed to go next while platforming. That little detail is so important because this game does not have it. Anniversary tried to adapt the camera of the original game at times, and it makes platforming more difficult. The automatic grabbing, as I said before, doesn't work all the time as it should. Again, this was not a problem in Tomb Raider Legends, which came out just a year before. I believe there are two main reasons why this game is so buggy. Tomb Raider Legends had 2 years of development while Anniversary only had a year. And let's be real, some of that probably was just marketing the game out. It probably wasn't even them working on the game. Not only that, but Core Design were the ones that originally were going to do the remake. But that version of the game got canceled and they were eventually bought out by another company. Meaning Crystal Dynamics had to cook up something pretty fast, and that explains all the problems that we see in this game. It sucks because there are times where everything does work as it should, and you can see not only the great level design of the original game shine through in this new light, but you can see how a passionate team can respectfully change a classic around to fit a modern day audience while maintaining the original game's identity. The platforming isn't the only issue in this game. The combat is also a mixed bag, but at least there's more positive going on here than negative. All of Lara's cool moves from Legends is gone, but you do get a new time dodge mechanic that's pretty cool. It sort of undermines Lara's flips, but it's not that big of a deal. The only issue with the combat is that the camera can get caught on the environment at times, and near the end of the game, I struggle with trying to lock on to certain enemies. The game kept wanting to lock me on to this trigger on the wall, but all I wanted to do was shoot this guy right in front of me that was killing me and almost knocking me off this ledge. I had to pray to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ to get me through this because about this time in the game, my patience was running a little low. The boss fights in this game are the only outright improvement with no issues. The fight between the two horsemen was awesome. Jehovah God and Jesus Christ pointed out to me that I needed to grab hold of these shields in order to take them down. The T-Rex fight was also expanded upon. You have to dodge out of the way and have it slam into these walls of spikes. I really loved all the boss fights in this game, and there's nothing bad to say about them. We were robbed, however, of every human boss fight in this game, and I think that's due to the story changes. Sucks because I actually wanted to see what the Skater Boy boss fight would have been in this game, but I guess we'll never know. Now, as I said before, the story is mostly the same, but them blending into it Legends storyline has caused some inconsistencies, but that's on brand for this game apparently. Unlike the cool badass adventurer Lara that we got in 1996, here we get a more emotional Lara from Tomb Raider Legends. Lara comes off less cool and more depressed, for a lack of a better word. She's motivated to find the Scion, which could help her find her lost mother. This one element changes Lara's attitude in cutscenes from cool and confident to desperate and annoyed. It's not that big of a deal to me as it goes along with the ending of Tomb Raider Legends and Lara's attitude at the end of that. But what baffles the heck out of me is Lara's unwillingness to kill people in this game. This has never been an issue for Miss Croft. Lara kills whomever is in her way within reason. And that's not only classic Lara, because Tomb Raider Legends Lara was killing everybody left and right. And remember, this is the same Lara from Tomb Raider Legends. They act like she never killed a person before, and when she finally does in this game, it's treated as some dark turning point for her character. This is the most confusing part of Lara's development, and I really don't get what's happening anymore. Now, for anyone that's ever beaten Tomb Raider Anniversary and Legends, you're probably killing me in the comments right now, but the story doesn't end there. You see, after beating Tomb Raider Anniversaries, I immediately got on Tomb Raider Underworld. And thanks to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ for pointing this out to me, because I did something I would have never done before. I learned that apparently Tomb Raider Anniversaries is a prequel to Tomb Raider Legends. I only know this because Jehovah God and Jesus Christ told me to check out the recap video that's bundled in Tomb Raider Underworld, where it frames Anniversary as a prequel and not a sequel. Now, that does explain Lara's reaction to killing others in this game, but they should have also made it clear from the beginning that this game was a prequel. Because to me, Lara Croft looks a lot older in Tomb Raider Anniversary than she did in Legends. And seeing as this game came after Legends, can you really blame me for thinking that it was actually a continuation of that story and not us going backwards? And maybe I'm missing something here, but I could have sworn in Tomb Raider Legends, I'm not going to go back to figure it out, but I thought in Tomb Raider Legends, Lara was on an expedition with her friends from college. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, and it wasn't so long after that. That's where the events of Legend started taking place. So when exactly, like how old is she supposed to be in Anniversary versus Legend? Someone put in the comment section the difference, because I swear she looks older in Anniversary. And I would think in Anniversary, Lara would, I think it just doesn't make any sense. I would have thought that she was already an established, it lines it up that she's already an established adventurer. But in Tomb Raider Legends, it's as if she becomes an adventurer later on, but then they do flashbacks before she was actual big adventurer. It's really weird. Outside of the game confusing me into thinking it was a sequel, but it's actually a prequel, the game just ends up ending the same way as the original game, with Lara stopping Natla, but again plays with the idea that Lara is just as bad as her now. I guess that's why they made this game be seemingly the first time of her killing people, I suppose. But Lara killing people hell-bent on bringing the destruction of the human race, even if her initial reason for joining Natla's quest was to find her mother, that doesn't compare to what Natla was doing. She was trying to kill everyone because she wanted to force some type of unnatural human evolution. I don't think those reasons are the same, and I don't think Lara should feel guilty because of what she did. To me, Tomb Raider Anniversary was not the kind of celebration that Lara Croft deserved. Not outright bad, as you can see glimpses of something good here, but the lack of polish and rushed development crashed this party hard. You can actually see what this game could have been if you played the Croft Manor level. This is a remixed version of the same mansion from Tomb Raider Legends, and who would have guessed that this level is more polished than any other level in the game? It's almost like they took this level from a game that was already polished and they just kind of reworked it to be different here. This level is really good and shows that Lara could actually work well in a Metroidvania, because that's kind of how this entire map plays. Lara Croft's 10th anniversary was well decorated, it looked nice, and the cake was actually pretty tasty, but the seating was poor and nobody came on time, and the main meal was pretty average. All of these party metaphors can be summed up with this. Tomb Raider Anniversary is an unpolished game that can still be fun, but because it's still Tomb Raider 1 underneath the jank, not because of anything special about it. I hope Legacy of Atlantis throws a better party than this one, because our girl Lara Croft deserves better than this. Thank you all for watching this review. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the hype button. I'm showing you where that is right now. May Jehovah God and Jesus Christ bless each and every one of you. I'm glad you guys watched the review, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about Tomb Raider Anniversary. Did you enjoy the game? Did you find this game to be as buggy as I did? Did you like the story? Did you like them trying to weave it into Legends? Let me know in the comment section. Peace out, keep gaming, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next video.